Hey everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, director of the Real Estate Academy of America. I am continuing on with the series on the changes that the Georgia Association of Realtors, or GAR, has made to the contract package for 2025. Please see in the description below the links to the other videos I have done in this series, as well as a link to our online training calendar for CE classes on all of the changes that GAR has made to their contract package for the remainder of December and carrying on into January and February. That calendar is continually being updated, so please make sure to continue to check that link. So, today's topic is the changes that GAR has made to the pre-showing compensation agreement. It is F258, only two minor changes. So let me share my screen and I'll go over them with you. So the changes, this is it. The pre-showing compensation agreement. Now, the first thing you'll notice, this was a new form that was introduced to us by the Georgia Association of Realtors in July 1st of 2024. And I am recording this in December of 2024. The changes that GAR has made for the 2025 printing are the date line. So they combined the date and the property address. All of this is the same. All of this is the same. And the only other change is they added the verbiage about compensation being made by the seller directly to the buyer's broker. So just those two changes. Let me just back up just a little bit and go over them. So this was the 2024 version, and you'll see it has, wrong one. Here it is, pre-showing compensation agreement for 2024 has the date there and the property address. For 2025, they just combined those. Now, again, this document is to be used when if you are a buyer's agent representing a buyer getting ready to show a property, and you reach out to the listing agent and the listing agent confirms any compensation coming from the seller side to the buyer's broker. If you know that in advance of showing the property, this would be the appropriate form to use. And it describes all of that. I'm not going over all of that in this video. I'm just going over the changes. So this describes all of that compensation from the seller side to the buyer's broker. This is the amount expressed as a percent of the sale price, a flat fee amount, or other arrangements. And this is whom the funds, the compensation is coming from. Is it coming from the seller? In other words, the seller is already paying their broker, and the seller directly is paying the buyer's broker. Or is the compensation to the buyer's broker coming from the seller's broker in a traditional co-op transaction that we've done for years and years and years? Or is there a combination based on something already pre-written? And then there's all the legalese and the verbiage that goes along with that and any special stipulations. Then there are the signature lines. And again, place for the buyer's broker to sign, the seller's broker to sign, and the seller to sign. But make note, it depends where the compensation to the buyer's broker is coming from. If it is coming from the seller directly to the buyer's broker, then the buyer's broker needs to sign and the seller. And it says right here, compensation to be made by seller. I'm sorry, let me back up. If seller is paying buyer's broker compensation referenced herein, seller hereby signs the agreement to confirm seller's agreement to pay the compensation directly to the buyer's broker. If the compensation is coming from the seller's broker, from the listing broker in a traditional co-op. Sellers paid the listing broker a big pile of money, and the listing broker is sharing part of that money with a buyer's broker. Traditional co-op, if you know that and the amount in advance, this is the pre-showing compensation agreement, then it is just signed by the two brokers or agents. It is the buyer's broker and the seller's broker. So the seller only needs to sign if the seller is paying compensation to the buyer's broker directly, again, before the buyer ever sees the property, pre-showing agreement. And I have some notes here. The seller only signs if the seller is compensating the buyer's broker directly. I have that spelled wrong, sorry. Now think about it. This is before buyers ever seen a house. Many sellers are willing to directly compensate a buyer's broker. However, they're not going to know the amount until they see the buyer's offer. So this form probably would not be used if the seller is compensating the buyer's broker directly, because this is before showing. They're probably going to wait and see what the buyer's offer is. So if you know what the compensation is before you ever show a house, this is the appropriate form to use. I have all my notes there. I hope this one helps. Now, what happens if you are going to show a buyer a house and you don't know the compensation or the amount of compensation before you see the house? Buyer sees the house and then they want to make an offer and ask the seller to compensate the buyer's broker. Well, we've got a couple of other options for that. Stay tuned for the next video and I'll go over that. Thank you so much for watching. Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education. Bye. If you like that video, check out the one here. If you like the content on this entire channel, please click here to subscribe. I try to take even the most complicated of real estate situations and make them crystal clear. See what I did there? Real estate made crystal clear. Thank you guys so much for watching.